It's I, Blaze from Blazing Flame Studio, and we are live for our Limbus Company playthrough, largely in part thanks to the Noel Mains Community Festival, in partnership with and collaboration with the Limbus Company unofficial Discord, who have commissioned me to do this fun little thing. So that being said, we're going to be spending the next 2 to 3 hours working on Limbus Company and seeing our first impressions of it, and yeah. Let's go ahead and get things started, shall we? Face the sin, save the ego. I am going in completely blind, so I have no idea what to expect here.
이제 알았어? 뛰어봤자 벼룩이라는 걸.
Okay. You dare interrupt me as I was engraving the blah 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 blah? You must be out of here.
엄밀히 따져보면 스승님이 하려는 게 도시의 금기는 아니더라. 아무도 시도할 생각조차 못했던 그런 일이라고 해야 하나?
Okay.
어라? 근데 이 녀석
그 사이에 머리를 갈아 끼웠군. 원래
Hello, sad cleric.
준비성조차 철저한가?
That's me. Okay.
아무래도 저 대가리엔 입까지는 없는 모양인데?
째깍거리는 소리만 들리네. 속에서는 비명이라도 지르는 걸까?
Actually, there's not much going on here. No.
째깍대는 소리가 빨라지는 걸 보니
Thanks for stabbing me. You and I are going to get along great, Wolf.
뭐야? 이젠 잠잠하네.
늑대, 여긴 누구도 오지 않고 누구도 볼 수
You're
있는
fine, Faust. Welcome to the stream.
우린 가르침을 따라야 해. 시간을 끌어서는 안 되니까.
그렇지만 우리가 살면서 언제 이런 녀석을 죽여보겠어?
사자, 너는 일을 할 때 너무 감정적이야. 공과 사는 구분하면 좋겠군.
Alright.
얼굴을 보고 싶었는데 아쉽게 됐어. 당신의 별이 어디 있는지는 알려주지 않겠지. 그렇군. 이별 자연히 그것을 찾을 방법도 이자에게선 얻을 수 없겠군.
You will get nothing from me, fool.
그럼 이제 끝내도 돼?
I prefer if you didn't.
그래.
이거 무슨 소리야? 표범, 설마 뒤에다가 추적자들을 달고 온 거야?
Welcome, welcome. How are you doing today, Faust?
아니, 쫓아올 자는 아무도 없었어. 짐승일 확률은
Hate to tell you, that's a car, not a wild animal.
소리가 아니야. 이건 버스.
저런 게 어떻게 여기까지 굴러 들어왔지?
It's the Limbus!
조난당한 버스인가 본데? 길을 잘못 든 죗값은 생각보다 무거울 듯.
Well. Went.
사자가 밀린 거야?
Yeah, I think a bus would beat someone trying to hold back a bus. Let me in! Let me in!
내 눈이 틀림없다면 당신은 영광의 항구에 이르겠지.
Thanks, I guess.
어두운 숲에서 길을 잃었군요.
That nameplate says Faust? I've been speaking to a Faust. There's a Faust in my Twitch chat.
하지만 당신은 두렵지 않았어요. 왜일까요? 그래요. 이제 그 형상을 되뇌면서 제가 하는 말을 마음으로 외치세요. 너의 별을 따라가.
Alright, I will follow my star, thanks. At that moment, I felt a sudden thump in my head. followed by the sting of several chains penetrating my chest. Well, that seems a bit excessive.
걱정하지 마세요. 정말로 심장을 못 쓰게 된 게 아니니까. 이것으로 계약은 완료되었습니다.
What pact?
단테, 이제 저희는 당신의 시간에 귀속되었습니다. 이제 저희의 심장이 멎고 뛰면 당신의 시각이 어디 위치하는지에 따라 달렸습니다. 잘 부탁드려요.
정말 이걸로 된 건가요?
Ah, yes. Sinner number 8. Are you from Genshin? We have a few sinners there.
날이 떨어졌어.
이 사람은 아직도 이상한 소리만 하네.
찌뿌둥해. 이제 움직여도 되는 거지?
Uh-oh.
몸을 풀어보는 것도 나쁘진 않겠지.
I know you.
불쌍하게 나뒹굴고 있는 저것은 뭐지?
You're in my thumbnail.
우리의 마지막 대원이 될 자인가?
말 조심하는 게 좋을걸. 우리 상사가 될 뿐이래.
습격은 순식간이었을 텐데 용케 머리를 숨겼군요.
Who are you people? And what's up with this bus?
우리는 당신을 돕기 위해 찾아온 정의의 사자들이고 이건 원하는 곳은 어디든 갈 수 있는 마술 버스죠.
Justice? Bus? I've heard of the Justice League, but not a Justice
그런
bus.
대답을 바라는 거 아니었어요? 그렇게 생각하는 쪽이 마음 편할 테니. 시간도 없고 유리한 상황도 아니니까 천천히 하지만 한 번만 설명하죠.
After some time has passed. So if I'm not mistaken here, and I do as you said, those total strangers will fight for me.
맞아요. 당신이 올바르게 명령을 내린다면요.
Okay. We'll kill the arrogant vandals dead. Then I'll go back to where I was. Where I was and... what was I doing? Where was I when I did that? Something extremely important was upon me. Something I shouldn't forget.
그 머리로 지금은 눈앞에 놓인 전투에 집중하죠, 단테.
뭐라고 불러야 할지. 시계 지휘관님? 아무튼
Call me Clocky.
전투 명령을 내려주십시오.
뭘 명령까지야. 각계전투밖에 답이 없지 않나.
Hello, Gallagher from Honkai Star Rail. How you doing?
저기요.
뭘 쑥덕대고
Nice
있는
bat.
거야. 다 으스러뜨리면 그만이잖아.
최선을 다해주세요, 단테.
Alright. Okay, let's begin by learning the basics of combat. Please direct your attention to the dashboard. You'll be using the dashboard to relay your commands to the sinners. You'll find each sinner's skills on the dashboard. The control scheme is simple. Simply drag from the left end of the dashboard to the right and to chain the skills, and you are ready to enter the combat phase. Okay. Allow me to guide your hand. Press and hold the gear on the left of the dashboard to grab the chain.
적들을 제거하겠어.
Interesting combat system. Didn't I hit some of you with a bus? That's how you, the manager, issue your orders. Let's try that again. Look at the dashboard, grab the chain from the left gear, and connect the skills on the guiding line to command us to use them. Okay.
적들을 제거하겠어.
Coming through! Not noticing any real health bars here. Now please issue a command.
것들을
Coming through.
제거하겠소.
I'm not doing any damage to that guy. Ah.
좋아, 간다.
Okay. Defeat. Was I supposed to win there? Because I didn't look like I was doing any damage to him.
이해가 되지 않는군. 이런 것들에게 사자가 당했다고.
Okay, so I was supposed to lose.
잠깐만, 방금까지 싸웠던 사람이 말하긴 그렇지만, 이건 대화로 풀 수 있는.
Oh, so much for that.
이건 이상적이지 않소.
처음부터 말이 안 되는 싸움이라고 생각했는데.
다들 장난해? 난 시작도.
Everybody's dying.
이겨준다는 말은 안 했어요. 그리고 저만 남았네요. 비장의 수라기보단 별을.
단체로 자살놀이라도 하는 건
Oh, everybody's dead.
썩 유쾌하진 않군.
뱀에게 전해라. 거짓 사자. 이건 막을 수 없는 흐름이라고.
Oh, hello.
붉은색. 왜?
내가 왜 팔다리만 잘라낸 줄 아나? 그래야 사지 멀쩡한 네가 저들을 데리고 달아난 팔과 다리를 대체해줄 놈이 너밖에 없으니.
붉은 시선.
그렇게 노려보지 마. 네 놈들이 해놓은 짓에 비하면 별것도 아니잖아. 그 정도 부상이면 위에서도 충분히 할 일 했다고 생각할 거다. 헌장처럼
Give it a
여기라고.
follow, Faust.
아니면 여기서 명줄을 놓고 싶은가?
Who are you? Are you one of them? Memphis, thank you for the follow.
늦은 건 아무것도 없습니다. 단테, 우리에게 필요한 건 오직 되돌릴 시간뿐이니까.
I'm suddenly overwhelmed by a sharp pain in my chest, as though my heart were being torn asunder, followed by flashes in the ribs, intestines, stomach, and lungs. Exmer, thank you for the follow. In my fading consciousness, the only thing I could perceive was the deceased's flesh reconstructing in a bizarre manner.
앞으로도 끝내주게 고통스러울 겁니다.
And the voice of the man with red eyes. My team back? I hear the howl of a beast somewhere. It cries ceaselessly. Is it wailing out of hunger or...
이러는 걸까?
드디어 정신
Am I on the bus?
버티지 못하고 골러갔으면 조금 실망할 뻔했어.
상쾌한 아침.
Hello, Karen.
버스 기사 카런.
I loved you in John Wick. You look a little different though.
상쾌하긴 하겠어. 기분이
I know you.
어떻습니까?
Did you kill two people like 5 seconds ago?
제각거리는군. 의사소통이 안 되는 건 제법 곤란한데 저는 베르길리우스라고 합니다.
Virgilus.
이 말이 제대로 들린다면 무언가 이해했다는 행동이라도 취하시죠.
Cool, I can nod.
좋아.
Thank you very much for the good lucks, everybody.
일단 출발하지, 카론.
출발할게. 부릉부릉.
There was a heavy roar and vibrations as though they echoed from the bottom of a deep mire. It was then that I realized I was aboard a bus. A bus. I can't be sure if I've ever ridden in such a vehicle in the past.
당신이 누구였는지는 기억합니까?
Nope. It reminded me my head was now a clinking mechanism.
기억을 되찾고 싶겠군. 그렇지 않나?
Should I want my memory back?
아, 매끄럽군. 다들 이렇게 몸짓으로만 말하면 안 되는 건가? 어떻게 생각하지, 파우스트 씨?
파우스트는 사양하고 싶어요. 저희가 매끄럽게 몸을 움직일 수 있는 상황이 그렇게 많지는 않을 것 같으니까요.
She's the one who spoke to me back in the forest. Her silver hair that glistens without even the sunlight gives off a rather mysterious air. They get the red-eyed man has been calling me that too.
당신의 이름이에요. 이름까지 잊으셨군요. 점차 익숙해질 거랍니다.
Attacked me earlier, and that Virgie, or whatever he was called, seemed to hear nothing but ticking from me.
파우스트에게는 제대로 된 단어로 들린답니다.
Really? But how? I don't have a real mouth.
시대적인 발상은 머리를 바꾸어서 생긴 건가요?
Outdated ideas must be one of the side effects that came with your head replacement. What happened to my original head?
상대나 혀 따위의 발성기관이 있어야만 대화를 할 수 있다는 건
I want my old head back.
이야기죠.
Mystic. Never considered that.
한 사람에게만 보낼 수도 있고 모두에게 전달할 수도 있답니다.
Cool.
모두라는 말은 수정해야겠군요. 수감자들에게만 해당하는 이야기예요. 당신의 뒤에 앉아있는 방금까지 당신을 대신해서 싸운 사람들을 말하는 겁니다.
그대가 이 여정을 함께할 마지막 조각인가? 얼마나 기다렸는지 모르네.
아, 형씨, 머리통은 어디다가 팔아넘겼어?
No idea. Ow. My head kind of just, well, it was half off.
당신이었군요. 당신 덕에 박살나 있던 척추가 말끔하게 돌아왔어요. 혹시 둥지에서 의사일이라도 했나요?
What nest?
다들 닥쳐라. 잡음이 겹치는 것만큼 불쾌한 것도 없으니 자기 소개가 필요한 시점인가 보군. 그럼 가벼운 인사를 나눌 시간을 주겠다. 앞에 앉은 것부터
Introductions
시작.
are in order.
왜 이름은 항상 앞자리부터인지.
Hello, Gallagher. How are you?
앞에 나서는 이제 진절머리가 나는데. 당신이 우리를 이끌 뭐더라?
Manager.
그래서 어떤 인물인지 굉장히 궁금했는데 말이야. 역시 뭔가 말을 만드는 건 어려워.
Alright.
머리통은 어디 팔아먹었는지 모르겠지만 저마다 사정은 있는 법이니까. 나는 그레고르라고 한다. 잘 부탁한다고, 관리자 양반.
Alright. Gregor, this thinner is relatively easy to handle in terms of personality. However, an upsurge of emotion or a sudden change of environment may cause part of the whole of his body to turn into an insectile, notably akin to a carapace, resembling that of a blank. Tissues, if you do not wish to be a rude manager, not that you're obligated to be nice, we recommend keeping your facial expressions in check. Not too worried about that given my head. Alright, he sometimes uses cynical language, but he can be reasoned with, and you can get around him without much difficulty as you learn the knack of it.
그래. 양반이 뭐야, 양반이.
이제부터 우리한테 엄청난 돈을 가져다 줄 사람한테.
Okay, so you care about being rich.
그래?
Rich? What's this about? Thanks, Zoru. I'm quite welcome to the company.
양반보다는 단테. 이름으로 부를게. 당신도 나를 로제라고 불러.
Okay. Rodion. The unfortunate traits of being Baptistreet's born are apparent in this center. She loves money, gambling, and betting, so it is advised to pay close attention to her as the manager. She tends to deflect orders with an unimpressive wink or a silly joke. We recommend taking a stern stance at times to remind her that you are her superior. Her mood may be down at regular intervals. There's nothing you can do to aid her in that state, so we recommend waiting for it to pass.
난 당신이 우리의 관리자가 된 데 이유가 있다고 믿어. 분명 원래는 둥지의 굉장한 사람이었겠지. 그때 버릇을 조금만 내비쳐도 우리한테 돈이 주르륵 들어올 생각을 하니?
Uh-huh. Does have sociability, I'll give her that.
내 정신 좀 봐. 예, 다음은 네 차례야.
안녕하세요.
시시해. 그게 끝이야?
싱클레어라고.
Hello, Sinclair. Sinclair, even with the volatile nature of human growth around his age taken into consideration, this sinner seems to get particularly startled or frown when spoken to. He isn't used to real combat at the moment, meaning that he may struggle to keep himself together at the sight of something as mild as split innards at first. Nothing wrong with that. As there may be those with violent tendencies among your crew, we recommend taking an approach focused on positive reinforcement with this sinner. He appears to possess a murderous gaze that he himself isn't aware of. This is hopefully a sign that he has potential to grow into an expert of our company's profession with the right stimuli. Ah yes, let us foster murder in a child. This boy looks awfully unnerved. Did he even join this company of his own accord?
더 해야 할 말이 있나요? 회사는 처음이라.
뭐 앞으로 남은 날은 많을 테니까.
Yeah, there is always a bit of a delay on streams on Twitch, Faust.
그럼 거기 괴짜 친구가 다음 타자하자.
이상이라.
Hello, Yi-song. Formerly the youngest chief researcher of the Redacted Wing, this sinner possesses higher intelligence compared to most others. We estimate that everyday conversation with this sinner will prove difficult for managers selected by our current screening process. Avoiding communication altogether will pose a risk on its own, however. If the sinner remains silent for a long time, that means he is currently processing a line of deliberate thought. We recommend waiting patiently for him. That's it?
이상이요.
No smoke or mirrors. He just stared vacantly into the window, disinterested.
답답하네요. 사회생활의 첫걸음은 인사잖아요. 저를 이스마일이라고 불러주세요.
Hello, Ishmael. You may be disheartened by by the defective state of many of your sinners, but do not worry. This sinner is one of the few who can carry out most missions without much complaint. She's likely to make reasonable judgments, so it's a good idea to start conversations while looking her way if you're seeking sound advice. However, you mustn't forget this sinner has survived an absurd voyage in a far and wide body of water. Her patience may run deep, but once you take a wrong turn with her, it will be a difficult task to regain her trust.
당신 덕택에 동강난 몸이 돌아왔다고 들었어요. 앞으로도 잘 부탁해요.
Although she emphasizes socially, she doesn't feel the most amicable sort.
미안하게 됐네. 나는 사회생활하고는 거리가 좀 멀어서. 키스클리프, 멋대로 부수고 깨부수는 일은 전문으로 하고 다녔지.
Heathcliff. He used to be a professional wrecker for property and people alike. The sinner prefers to take action rather than wait for logic to dictate his course. His thoughts and feelings are blatantly visible to his demeanor, and he has no intention of hiding them. His brashness may cause headaches or physical injury leading to a headache in the process of forming a relationship. Please do note this is not an indication of serious damage to the sinner's thought process, and if his fit of rage persists, please contact the Human Resources Department. Once you realize he's the type that tends to be simple-minded, you'll have an easier time handling.
누가
Okay.
시켜서가 아니라 거슬리는 것들에게 하고 다니긴 했지만 당신도 조심하라고. 나는 윗사람이라고 거들먹거리는 사람한테 알레르기가 있거든.
드디어 이 몸의 차례인가? 난 돈키호테일세.
Don Quixote! There's no sinner that can outmatch this one's level of passion if we were to measure it. An avid aficionado of all things Fixer, she adorns herself with a variety of Fixer-related merchandise. They won't affect her performance in combat one way or the other. So there is no need for you to restrict her from keeping her decorations. She is deeply immersed in the role of a righteous Fixer, hence the exaggerated mannerisms akin to those of an actor. It's advised to play along with her for a smooth mission. Have a good one, Zoru.
잘 부탁하네.
Now, Fixer, we shall sprint to the dreams side by side. A pleasure to have thee. Okay.
해결사 말인가? 내가 대답해줄 수 있네. 도시를 수호하는 자들이지. 아, 도시에 대해서도 제대로 기억하지 못하겠군. 도시는
나는 가벼운 인사를 나누라고 했던 것 같은데 두 번 말하게 하지 않았으면 좋겠어.
홍루라고 한답니다. 잘해보자고요, 우리.
Name is Hong Lu. I hope we can get along well. A sinner who has lived an affluent life before becoming our company's asset. As such, he has a certain admiration for a free life, but occasionally he may make ignorant and unsavory questions in regards to the food cooked by a certain other sinner or other aspects of the low lives' lowly culture. This can cause significant irritation for the other sinners. However, it's important to note that no sarcastic undertones are contained in his curiosity-driven inquiries, so it is ill-advised to let them get physical over it.
우와, 당신 그 머리 근사한데요? 요새 유행하는 모델인가 보죠?
Okay. All my
제
picking.
취향은 아니지만.
저건 무슨 말싸가지야?
요슈.
Yoshu! As they say, every person has their own creed, and it's only right to respect it as the executive manager. But with some creeds, you'll have difficulty in even pretending to sympathize. You will have noticed that the sinner in question is a silent chain smoker whose eyes shine with a euphoric gleam only in battle. She believes that senselessly destroying the enemy's heads is an uncultured act and a step backward for art. Caution, this sinner's background is one that even our company may have trouble handling. It is advised against making her breed personal resentment toward you.
요르슈쿠.
Nice to meet you.
메르소, 그렇게 불러주시겠습니까?
Hey, Risley. Wants clear and concise commands requiring no judgment on his part. Go.
특별한 것이 아닙니다. 그저 보통의 태도입니다. 네.
Fellas, there's something we're gravely amiss with him, but I can't seem to pin it down exactly. The way she scanned me was a little daunting.
관리자님이 먼저 자세를 굽히려다니 본인은 오티스라고 합니다.
Ultis, I would like to apologize for my
예전에 싫었던
rudeness.
부분을 사과드리고 싶습니다.
This dinner could serve as an excellent advisor depending on your capability. However, she also has a meddlesome tendency, so it is recommended to keep her satisfied with short replies of agreement. She's an expert when it comes to tactics and various pearls of wisdom about life, making her advice all the more valuable for your mission. In addition, she possesses a vast knowledge of workshop technologies. You could trust her with simple repairs of the bus. Notice, unlike the other sinners, assessing records pertaining to the past of the sinner is not permitted. Keep an eye on this sinner and be aware that she's not exercising her cunning intellect for purposes other than completing our company's mission.
이거 참 마음마저 이렇게 넓으실 줄이야. 역시 처음부터 저희를 이끄실 분이라는 걸 한눈에 알아봤습니다. 인간의 대부분은 서로가 맞붙어 소음과 마찰을 이끌어내지만 그중 소수는 맞붙는 것으로 서로에게 이득이 되는 경우가 검을 날카롭게 벼리기 위해선 그만큼 강한 숫돌이 필요한 것처럼 누구보다 관리자님을 위해 헌신하겠습니다. 편히 써주시기를.
I give her an approving nod, even though I still don't get what she means.
아까 숲에서는 불쌍하게 나뒹군다고 말하더니 잘도 그런 말을 성대 밖으로 꺼낼 수 있네요. 제가 마지막이네요. 파우스트입니다.
Hello, Faust. Is the bus operated by Limbus Company? She claims that there is no one in the city who could rival her library of knowledge and wisdom, and she isn't necessary when she allows you to converse with her displeasing, but as seen with how she treats everyone with subtle gestures of arrogance, there is no for parting with it ever. We recommend simply nodding once and getting over it. Even though she has unparalleled genius, we can't quite figure out how to use this one. Perhaps you could be the one to find out.
당신의 인생 중 괜찮습니다. 경험을 통해 차차 이해할 수 있을 거예요. 파우스트가 진귀한 천재였다는 사실 말이에요. 관측 깨닫지 못한다 하여 실이 진실이 되는 일은 없으니까요.